first thing I do when a customer brings me logs is I look at the ends of the logs and I try to figure out what I have to do to make them all uniform and make them so they're going to make the best lumber possible. And I'll show you what I have to do in this case. You see, these are from the tree being cut down, and you get these little edges on here, and that doesn't always make for the best finished cut lumber. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this bad boy right here, and we're going to just slice a little bit off each end. And as we do that, we're going to cut them so that they're all the same length, and that will make a stack that when we stack the boards is nice and even, easy to handle. These are going to go in the kiln, so that will make it easier to handle it when I bring it to the kiln dryer. Well, now you can see the log is up on the mill and it is ready to get sawn up into some boards. And the ends are that we wax sealed, those are all dried and ready to go. Gonna make some beautiful lumber. And I'm sure the one thing that you're wondering is, what exactly am I cutting here today? You may have been looking at it and thinking, that's some different looking kind of bark that is on this. Well, the wood that we're cutting today is called persimmon, or depending where you're from, persimmon. So in the area where I live, most people say persimmon. And so I'll try as hard as I can to call it that today. I want to show you one of the cross-section cuts that I got off of it. And it's this right here. Now persimmon has a real yellowish color to it, and then it has a really dark pith in the center. And that's kind of unique to this kind of wood. If you see that, there's a good chance that it is persimmon. You definitely don't want to get this confused with sassafras, which some people do, because the bark on sassafras also has this kind of a really slim reddish color on the cadmium layer of the bark in between here. And but it smells nothing like sassafras, it looks nothing like sassafras. And one of the dead giveaways is that persimmon is extremely heavy. Even this thing right here is significant weight, this little cookie. And so it's going to be a lot of fun cutting it. It's going to be very dense, so we're going to run the sawmill a little bit slower, make sure we're getting nice solid cuts. Now the reason that we're cutting this, a customer brought me these logs, so he brought me 4 persimmon logs. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut some of this, pretty much all of this we're going to cut into 5/4 or 1 1/4 inch thick boards. And some of this material is going to go to build a very simple, modern-looking computer desk for the customer. The rest of it I intend on buying from the customer, drawing and having it available for sale here in a few weeks. Well, without further ado, let's get started and fire up the old LT40 diesel sawmill and start making some lumber. So for those of you seeing me cut this persimmon log behind me, you might be wondering, what kind of log is that? Where does that come from? Does it make fruit? All these sorts of things. These are things that I like to know when I cut something. And instead of trying to explain off the top of my head, I'm going to use the old Google device. Can you hear those cicadas in the background? I know it's really random, but the cicadas are super duper loud right now. And there's something about every 17 years, this certain type of cicada hatches, and that's what we got now. And they are all over. They are loud as can be. You almost need earmuffs out here just for the cicadas. Anyhow, back from that bunny trail. Persimmons do make fruit. It says it can be eaten fresh, dried, or cooked. Fresh fruits can be cut into quarters or eaten like an apple. Dried persimmons can be used in cookies, cakes, pudding, salads, and a topping for cereals. And I've never eaten a persimmon fruit, and so that's what I'm kind of wondering about. Maybe some of you have out there. They say it has a slippery texture and a taste kind of like the fabulous, fruity love child of a mango and a roasted sweet pepper with some cinnamon in the background. So that sounds really interesting indeed. Well, that's some interesting factoids, but let me tell you what a persimmon means to a sawmiller. It means really crazy, really rough and intense bark that you have to cut through, and it means a very, very hard wood. So these are like little nuggets that I cut off of the wood, and you can see, like, this is how thick the bark actually is that I cut off. And since I cut this one, you know, just at the right height, you got all these funny little nuggets. Now, I know you can eat the fruit. I wouldn't try to eat one of these. I want to show you from one of the cut off sections here exactly what I'm talking about. So here is that beautiful golden color. Isn't that nice? And then occasionally, as you get closer to the heart of it, you get these really contrasting dark spots in there. You can see them. They're almost like little freckles, you know, that appear in the wood. And there's the bark I'm talking about. So just for reference, my thumb is about 1 inch. So you can see how thick that bark is, and it goes all the way. I mean, there is not a not thick section of that bark on there. So for a sawmiller, that means a little extra care as we're cutting through it to make sure that our blade is staying sharp and our cuts are nice and straight and flat. Well, let's go ahead and finish this log up, shall we? And then we'll show you the finished timber from this one log. And after this, today I've got 3 more of these to cut, and we'll show you the finished results here as we go along. So hang tight just a little bit, have some beautiful lumber made here. Well, here is our first stack of lumber from that very first log that you just saw us cut. Pretty neat, huh? Remember those dark streaks I was talking to you about? Look at all of that. Now I think that looks pretty stinking cool. What do you guys think? Say in the comments below. All these dark streaks in it are really unique. So we're going to be making, like I said, a computer table for this customer. And wow, that's going to look so cool when it's all done. And here's what we have left to cut, is these 3 logs right here. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to do that in fast motion for you. We're going to do maybe 3 different angles, so you'll know it's 3 different logs. We'll get that wrapped up, and then I'll show you the wood pile we end up with today. Well, guys, another wonderful day on the sawmill. Growing business, growing family. You see the kids driving by, rocketing by on their bikes. And this is the stack of persimmon that we ended up cutting. All in all, it's about 300 board feet, almost exactly. And it is beautiful, beautiful stuff, just like I've been saying the whole video. And it was fun cutting this. Again, not a wood that you cut every single day. And that's part of what made it kind of fun, is revealing the beauty. Cut by cut, each piece was very unique, and it's going to make something very, very beautiful in the future. So guys, I'm going to perform my favorite thing, movie magic, and bring in a special helper here to show you who has been helping me through this video in so many ways. So this is my good friend. I want to tell you why he has been such a good helper. This barn that we've been working under, he was a very critical part in helping me get this entire barn made. As he looks at me shifty-eyed from the side, because big old fat, getting older me did not want to go up on the roof, and he went up there and helped screw in almost all the screws on the top of the roof of this barn, which we're working in now, which, if you've been following the videos, you know is a new advancement for Southern Indiana Sawmill. And today, for the first time, he was working on the sawmill, getting everything, helping stack, kind of learning the process. And so some of it is in fast motion. For some of you jokers out there, I know you're going to say, you know, what's he standing around for and all that kind of stuff? Because I told him to. That's why. And so that's how I roll. And I just need to ask, did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was very
enjoyable. If you were to do this for a whole day and not just for like a couple hours, do you think that you would be something that like you could get into in the future?
Yeah, it was something I can do.
Yeah, so there's hope for the future, folks. Those of you that are out there wondering, are there still people learning the trades? Are there still people that are interested in doing difficult work? There certainly are. And so, guys, there is hope. And hopefully in the future, we'll see more of my good friend here helping us out in the videos, and we'll see. But there is going to be more sawmill content coming down the road. So guys, if you do enjoy what you've seen here today, please go ahead. I always have to ask, subscribe to the channel. It's very important. Like the video, hit the bell, share the video, do all that stuff. Why? Because it helps me get recognized on YouTube, and it helps me get more views, and it helps motivate me really to bring you more content. So we're gonna have a lot more sawmill videos coming down the road. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. God bless you all. Until next time, take care of yourselves.